President Joe Biden has blocked a freight rail strike for at least 60 days by naming a board of arbitrators to ultimately intervene in the contract dispute, and ultimately is averting action that could have disrupted all sorts of shipments. Not sure how many of you guys are aware, but we could be on the cusp of another economic crisis and potential collapse that would impact store shelves like Costco, Target, Walmart, BJ's, you name it. And President Joe Biden has hopefully blocked this. Now, obviously, this is a short-term plan of his, or a short-term band-aid solution to a longer-term problem, but this would also impact the trucking industry. And this railroad strike issue has been going on for over 100 years. If you guys saw my previous video, this is nothing new, but it's getting to a point where people are just they're fed up. They're fed up with it. The railroad workers are fed up with it. They're tired of having railroad companies make billions of dollars in profits, record profits, mind you, and the workers are steadily having their benefits taken away from them. They're steadily being passed over for raises. We're dealing with inflation at a higher rate than we've seen in the past 40 years. And the American worker is fed up with it. Sorry about that, loud car going by. Many of these railroad workers are they're only able to see their families like 3-4 days out of the month, which is ridiculous. So you're killing yourself, you're dedicating your entire life to a railroad company, and they're not even willing to pay you a decent living wage while they're making record profits and billions of dollars every single quarter. Does that sound fair to you? Now, this widely expected move from President Biden is expected to keep 115,000 rail workers on the job while these arbitrators develop a set of contract recommendations for both sides to consider. Now, President Biden had to act before July 18th in order to prevent a possible railroad strike. Now, a new round of regulations or negotiations is likely for those after those recommendations are issued. So that's the next shoe that is likely to drop. Now, the president wrote in an executive order naming the arbitrators that he'd be notified by the National Mediation Board that in its judgment, these disputes threaten substantially to interrupt interstate commerce to a degree that would deprive a section of our country of transportation service. Now, we've got truckers dealing with higher gas prices, higher diesel prices. Many truckers have found themselves to be reducing their profit margins as a result of higher expenses on their small businesses. And so some truckers are actually taking losses as a result of the fact that many companies are just not paying as much per load to have goods and service, or to have goods and products transported from the container ships out in California out to the different distribution centers and the different retail stores like Target, Walmart, Costco, you name it. Now, if the railroads and their 12 unions cannot agree on a contract within the next 60 days, there's actually less than 60 days now, Congress would more than likely have to step in to prevent a strike by voting to impose terms or take another action. But here's another thing that I don't know if the government's considering. Even if President Biden decided to step in and say, hey, you guys can't take a strike, you guys can't strike, Biden can't stop these people from acting independently and just quitting and walking off the jobs. And we've seen this before. So, okay, you might be able to stop the union, but you can't stop the individual worker. You can't prevent him or her from saying, you know what? I don't want to work here anymore. I don't want to work for CSX anymore. I don't want to work for Union Pacific anymore. I don't want to work for BNSF anymore, which is, by the way, Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway's invested company. But Although unlikely, a full strike would leave the trucking industry theoretically seeing enormous demand due to container and boxcar freight. So this is going to have a widespread impact if this strike actually goes through. Now, you've got principal industry analysts that have commented on this, and basically they're saying that it would make the last 2 years during the pandemic pale into insignificance. The volume of freight shippers would try to move would overwhelm all sectors of trucking. So the thing is like, if you're thinking, okay, well, we can survive without the railroad system, we can survive a temporary strike from railroad workers, but the question is, can we? Analysts in the industry are actually saying that this would pale in comparison. UPS truck driver going by, and I talked to a UPS truck driver just the other day. He was actually complaining about gas prices himself. Now, he doesn't have to pay for gas prices. He doesn't have to pay for gas for his UPS truck, but he just happened to mention that gas prices are still high. We have seen gas prices come down a little bit, but don't be fooled. See, a lot of people want to say, and you guys know who I'm talking about, a lot of people want to say, oh, gas prices have come down quite a bit. Yeah, but they're high still. They're still high. Yeah, they've come down recently, but that's like saying, okay, look at it like this. I used to pay $2 a gallon for gas. Gas goes up to $6 a gallon. Then it comes back down a whole dollar. So I'm paying $5 a gallon for gas now. So should I be celebrating that it's not 6 anymore, it's now 5? No, it used to be 2. So, a lot of these politicians and lawmakers, they want you to celebrate mediocrity. And it's like, look, the system is failing. The system is failing. And the lower income Americans, the lower income, lower middle income Americans, they're going to feel it first. They're going to feel it first. If you're making $10 an hour, if you're living paycheck to paycheck, if you don't have some form of alternative stream of income, big change is going to have to happen. Either companies are going to have to start paying more, or more people are going to have to create side hustles or different active or even passive forms of income in order to sustain themselves. Because think about it, if you're making $10 an hour and gas is $5, you're working for every 1 hour, you're only able to cover 2 gallons of gas. You might spend, depending upon the fuel efficiency of your car, you might be spending 2 gallons just to get to and from work. So, and then that's assuming that they didn't take any taxes out of your check, which they are. So it's getting rough out here for a lot of people, and a lot of people are going to have to make some big changes. They're going to have to pick up a second job, part-time job. They're going to have to do something economically for themselves to improve their income to offset inflation. Now, the United Rail Unions Coalition, they said that the labor unions are preparing to make their case to the Board of Arbitrators, and they believe that current economic data shows the raises that they're asking for are more than warranted when compared to our membership's contributions to the record profits of the rail carriers. So like I said, guys, the rail workers and the average American, they're standing up. They're not going to keep taking this anymore. And I'm almost afraid. I don't want to say I'm afraid. I am a little bit concerned to see what the ultimate fallout will be from all of this, but I'll definitely keep you guys posted. If you made it this far in this video, definitely hit the like button, consider subscribing to the channel. I'm gonna go ahead and wipe this sweat off my forehead, and I'll see you guys on the next one.